Okay, so I've got a kind of a side project here at work. Development team has asked me to create a little thank you project, and they gave me some bookends similar to these guys right here. They're pretty small, they're 5 inches tall, 5 inches deep, and then just the base here is only 2 inches deep. So the agency I work for, Southwest Human Development, it's a great company, and one of our tenets is literacy and young kids. So one of the projects we like to put around the valley, and you can see on a map on our website here, is Little Free Libraries. If you haven't heard of that project, it's pretty cool. It's just a way to put books into communities that might not have very many books. So our agency has teamed up with lots of partners, and they've made these little free libraries that are all over the valley. And so we just wanted to make a little thank you for somebody who's been instrumental in our agency. So they asked me to make a little free library on this bookend. So I was just looking around, Googled little free library. I like this. Not that it's going to look like this in the end, but it's kind of the shape we're going for on the bookend. So my plan is to make essentially half of a little free library on each side of the bookend. So when there's books between it, it'll just be like that. So anyways, I'm going to take you through the process I would do, or I'm going to try, and we'll see where it goes. So my first step after measuring these bookends was actually to jump over to this awesome site called makeabox.io. That's the URL. So I plugged in my numbers here that I wanted to make for the box, and this is just—it's really a sweet system. Then you just hit download PDF. A little tip here: do print info box if you do a lot of these, which I happen to do. It just gives you some more information in the file that you download. Here you can see an example of the output of it. So this is a PDF, and here's the information with the print info box down here in the end. So, and then what I'll do with that, actually I'll close that, is I'll open that up in Illustrator. Downloads. So this is just a way to get, if you've got something that's a PDF but has line information in it, you can get it into Fusion and actually make parts with it. So I'm going to go ahead and just delete this for now. I won't save this file. So select all these just to make it easier to see. Make all these one point. Now I can see my parts. I'm just going to select them all. I'm going to do a file export as, and do it as a DXF. Go to my documents, I've got a DXF folder. Call this LFL for a little free library. Export. Okay. Minimize that. So now I'm back in Fusion 360. I've already saved this file, just a small one, in the project folder. I'm going to go ahead and insert a DXF, and put it on the this plane. Select my file, documents, LFL export. And there you go. It's scaled, and as you can see, they're all closed. Just go ahead and go OK. And one thing I did on MakeABox's website is for the kerf, I did 0 kerf, because once I actually make these components and stand them up, then that way all these tabs will be interlocking. Now, once I move it to my laser cutter, which is how I'm planning on cutting these out, I'll have to be ready for that because the joints will be a little tight, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So there you go. I've got all these in a sketch. Just gonna actually extrude them. 0.27 or 0.227 is my 1/4 inch Baltic birch plywood that I have, and that's actually accounted for in these tabs as well. So just got to match those up, and then do So now, as you can see, I've got a body for each of these. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of for now, let's actually just make these all components, and we'll stand them up and create components from bodies. So I could have just started out with making the components, but I didn't. Here we go. So now I can do joints. So I want to put that guy. Actually, the first thing I want to do is make sure that I ground. So I'm going to call this one base. And then I'm going to go ahead and ground it. Just because I don't want, I can move all these other ones around, but I don't want that base one to be moved. So now I'll start doing my joints. That guy. That guy. Okay. What I might want to do, thinking out loud here, is, because those are identical, well, I'm just going to go ahead and make this box. I think it's kind of cool that you can take a web resource like MakeABox.io and create physical products out of it, just because it's set up for that. Which is great on its own, but it's nice to be able to tweak it. So I like to bring it into Fusion, make a real solid model out of it, and then blow that up and take it to the laser cutter. So I'm just going to keep going on my joints here. I'm holding Control when I want to. So as you see, I did that corner, and you can see that little hockey puck or whatever they call it is parallel to this face. If I scroll over here and I go to that corner, it's hard to make sure which plane the puck locks in with over on here. So if I go to my middle and I hold the Control key and then I go down to that point, then it'll lock right in there. So that's good, rigid. Just gonna keep going around and right click, and you can hit repeat joint. So I'm gonna do that. Actually, it's not the easiest point to go on that one, so I'm going to hit escape, repeat joint. I'm going to do this point here instead. Again, see, that's a fail. Cancel, repeat joint. That's right, so I needed to be on this face. There we go. Okay. Moving around. Another little tip here. If you hold right click, go. Alright. Huh. There you go. If you hold right click and drag up, it does the same repeat command. So, I don't know why it didn't work the first time. Control. Lock it in. Okay. And then this top piece here, which I believe I'm going to get rid of, but I'll go ahead and throw it up there for now anyways. There you go, you got your solid box. It's actually a good 3D model. So I should go ahead and rename some of these so I know which ones are which. this guy here. The trick here is you can highlight the face, and then over here on your browser tree you can see which one's got the dashed underline. I just want to make sure I know which one's, this is one that's going to be bookend side. It's going to be front side. So those just shift in. Sometimes I like to toggle the, you can also go up here to inspect and do component color cycle toggle. So that shift in is the shortcut for that. Just helps you see the model in different parts sometimes. So I like that. I'm going to turn off my joints because I don't want to see them. So now my, I can also, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do one more step, and that's going to be, how do I want to do the roof? So I can do the roof two ways. Trying to decide. If I go back to my example here, I'm going to give it an overhang on the outside, and then I'm actually going to pull up. I guess I'll leave that top solid. Pull up and then come through. Looks like about a 45-degree angle on that roof, which is good because I guess I want to repeat the tabs up top. So we'll do this. I really wish there was a way to, well, I guess I can just measure this. So I'm going to inspect the I for inspect. So the length of these tabs are 0.556. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that in as a user parameter. Tab length. I think I did 0.556. And then, yeah, we'll call that good for now. Well, I want to do ply too. So ply 0.227. And actually, I'm going to go back down into here for this first extrude. I'm going to change that to ply, just so if things change, they will change as well. Where are these guys? Those are all my joints. Okay. So my plan here is to go ahead, let me see my origin. I did this in another video or screencast. I want to move my origin to the midpoint. Let me see here. Yeah, I'm going to move all of these sides here. Actually, it's not going to let me move base. I'm going to unground the base. Now I can move all these components. Point to point. It's going to give me that center point there. I'm going to put that at the origin. So what that's going to allow me to do is mirror things over. Plus it's going to give me a good center plane for sketching on. I'll go ahead and capture that position. Actually, whoop, didn't like that. I'm going to ground the base here. Actually, you know what? I don't need to ground it. It's fine. I'll just revert it if I remove it. So now I'm going to create a sketch. on that plane. It's going to go do 45 degrees. Just lock it there for now. Sketch, I'm going to trim it. Just do that. Pull that guy down. Do some offsets by apply, minus. Cap these guys off, and that should close it in. The thing I do want to do here, though, is go ahead and make those. I'm actually going to pull those both out. And at the same time, also I want to close in the center triangle. One thing for me, sometimes I like to model doing as few sketches as possible, and sometimes I'd like to do lots of sketches. So this one I'm going to try to do a whole bunch with just this one sketch. And I'll show you what I mean right now. So part of my plan here is I'm going to take and activate this bookend side. I'm going to go ahead and extrude this face. I'm going to go ahead and extrude, yeah, just that face for now. And so default is from the profile plane for where it starts, but one trick you can do is actually from an object. So I'm going to spin to the back side of this guy, and we'll go from that object. I want to extrude it, apply, and I want to join. You can see there the operations join, and since I'm active in my bookend side, if I hit OK, it locks in with that. So I like that, but the one thing I want to go turn my sketch back on. So I'm going to do the same thing for this side, which this is why I could have just created one side and just done a copy paste, and everything I changed to that side would reflect on this, but I got a feeling eventually I'm going to make changes on this outside that I don't want on the book side or the bookend side. So we'll activate the outside and repeat those steps. So E for extrude, grab that same surface, I'm going to do from object, that back side. You can see there it's negative, so I'm going to do negative, apply. Okay, now I've still got that sketch active because here's where I'm going to actually create new components. So I want to make sure I go back to my base component, or my assembly rather, make that active, create a new component, I'm going to call it roof front, extrude that and that pitch there. Now I want to go, let's go ahead and go we'll do two sides, and we'll do two an object. So we're going to go to the outside there, to object, outside here. Sometimes if it won't pull, I know, dropping a name, but NYCNC brought up the great point that you could always just pull it to a point. So instead of selecting that face, if you select this point, it'll pull it to there. But I don't like to do the point for whatever reason. I always do the face. So I just make sure that I extend the face, and it'll pull it to it anyways. Go ahead and OK. Because the roof, I'm not going to do anything different on the roof for sure. I'm going to go ahead and extrude this guy down a little bit. Let's go. I always like to use my parameters for whatever reason, so I'm just going to do ply times 2. Because I've got those origin planes in there, instead of extruding the other one, I am actually going to, in a mirror, and go back to my base assembly, activate it. No, I'm not going to. Because I'm going to do these tabs, I'm not going to do it the way I thought. So I'm going to make another component. I call this roof back. It's active. Extrude that plus that. So here's another way. You can always symmetric overall, and I know that this is 5 inches. Sorry, 2 inches. Plus, so make a box, those dimensions were interior, so that's fine because I can just do 2 plus 2 times ply. Yeah, put those in brackets, parentheses. Whoops. That would help. There you go. Those line up. So I'm going to go back to my main component. So now I've got a couple things going on here. One being, what do I want to do? I want to have those tabs lock. First off, I can turn off the sketch because I don't need it anymore. I'm going to activate this front roof. I'm going to draw in my tabs here. So I'm going to create a sketch on that face. Rectangle. It's going to be ply. And that's going to be tab length. So let's see. I'm gonna do this instead. I'm gonna delete that. I'm gonna make 4 rectangles. Here's something I like to do sometimes, just to. Actually, I'm gonna make 5. I like the 3 and the 2 better. And then I'm gonna make say that is equal to this, and this is equal to that, and this is equal to that, and this is equal to that. So there you go. Now they're all, you got 5 equal length rectangles. Stop that sketch, extrude, and knock out. I want to see 2 on the front instead of the back, and then go minus ply. Now you got to be careful here because when you cut with things overlapping, it'll have a tendency, or it'll automatically cut all the objects in its path. So I want to make sure I don't cut the roof back because I actually want those to be the tabs coming through. I did minus ply for my depth. Okay. And now the trick here is to go to the back, activate it, and actually do a combine. Target body, the roof back, tool body, roof front. I want to cut. I'm going to keep my tool. Okay. After I do that, you can go ahead and inspect interference. You can actually just go Control All, drag them all out. Now if you include coincidental faces, you'll get a whole bunch of issues, but I'll just select the bodies. Just don't want whatever. I'm going to change that and go to, I'll just do that. It's selected, compute, no interference is detected. Okay, so those tabs work. Next, I need a way to hold those roofs onto these, the front, the outside and the bookend side. So, and how I'm going to do that is actually with, I'm going to turn off my roof sections, and I'm going to sketch on this face. I'm just going to do two. I'm going to do a 3-point rectangle. That's cool. First time I've seen that. So I would set R for rectangle, but I can't do a rectangle on that slope. But what I can do is hit R for rectangle, come over here to feature options, and do a 3-point rectangle from there. So 1, I want this to be tab length. And then I want it to be ply. I'm going to make this distance tab length also. So that's locked in. I'm going to do two construction lines. So I'm going to do that one there, and then midline here, 45. Select those. I'm going to just do some sketch mirroring. So 4 selected, mirror line, this guy here, okay. I'll do 8 selected, sketch, mirror, select my mirror line, there, okay. Stop sketch, extrude my tabs. You notice I took the, I have the roof off. So what I want to do here is, instead of just doing it, let me see if I'm active in my overall, which this might come to bite me, but let's try it and see what happens. So I want to extrude to object, this face, extend the surface, or extend the edge, join. Okay, so yeah, what that's trying to do is not what I want. But I'm going to cancel. So I did that sketch in my, that sketch is in my my assembly, which is fine. I'm just going to go ahead and activate my bookend side, and then extrude. Minus ply, join it, not cut it. What happens if I do minus 10? Yeah, minus ply. I'm going to jump over to my outside, extrude, turn my sketch back on, turn that bookend side off. And then again, I'm going to go from object instead. Go apply, join, okay. Turn that sketch off now. Activate my assembly. Turn off my origin. Turn that end back on. Turn my roofs back on. Okay, so now I'm at again, I got that issue where I got to cut out my tabs for my roof section now. But before I do that, I actually want to go ahead. I want to extrude. Go ahead and bump that out. What, ply? Let's do 2 times ply. Again, I'm gonna right click and drag it straight up. Repeat extrude. That guy. 2 times ply. That would work, but that's ugly to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and what would be the easiest way? Here's one of those times I'm gonna undo the, so I should have done this before I did my upper roof tabs. And I can fix that by actually just sliding back in my timeline here to before when I did those. So there you go. That's where that is. I'm going to go before this sketch here to where that's like that. I don't know why that's highlighting. That's just a visual error, I think. Let's see if I can undo it. Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to extrude both of these guys. Cancel. Let's go 2 times ply. Two times ply. Go back to here. So now if I jump to this sketch and actually show it, now those tabs have automatically gone to the right distance. So scroll to the front again. Okay, so now tabs look good to me. I'm gonna go ahead and knock out the tab slots in the roof sections for each of this side. So go ahead and activate the roof front, combine, target body, tool body. I got 2 this time. It's giving me some issues. Combine, target, tool. There we go. I'm going to cut. I'm going to keep my tools. Okay, I'm going to go to the roof back. Repeat combine. Target body. Tool bodies. Okay. That's why I like to keep on component cycling sometimes, because as you can see, the colors just don't match up. So this should not be both colors, it should just be green. So what I'm going to do is click on this again, and it is a cut. might have just been, why is that? I turn off my outside, it didn't remove it. Interesting. Didn't do it there either. Well, so it's almost through. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just go ahead and isolate my roofs. And I'm going to punch these guys out by just extruding. This guy's fighting me. Interesting. What you upset about, brah? Okay, so we'll force it. We're gonna right click, unisolate. That's how it should look. I'm guessing my planes are probably just off. Maybe how I mirrored it was not, maybe the mirroring wasn't right, but anyhow, I'm gonna extrude this guy, my 2x ply. Okay, so I like how that's looking. You can see similarity to our mock-up. Another project that our work did was publish a book. So HD Up is the name of the book. Let's see if that. Yeah, so there's the title, or there's the cover. My thought was, and I might still do this, I might do half of it. I might split the up cover and do half on the front coming across. So it'd be split when they're apart, but then on the outsides, I might do the cover there as well. I'll just do a engrave with the laser cutter. So. Let me see, is that as far as I want to take it right now? I could 3D, or I could laser cut all those. They're going to go together. That's just going to sit. I'll probably just epoxy the wood to the metal bookend, and we'll go from there. Yep. So I guess the last step would be actually blowing up the joints and flattening it all back out. You know, the easier, let me see here. So the only ones I changed were the outside, which they are identical, and then the roof. So, you know, this sketch is still relative. If I wanted to, which one? So those are just big squares. The cool thing with the laser cutter is, so if I create a new sketch of this side, and I stop my sketch, I can call this, call it whatever I want. I'm gonna call it laser cut side or outside. Now I can export this sketch. I can save it as a DXF. I'm gonna call it LFL outside. Actually, I'm not going to save it there though. I've got a separate laser cutter folder I like to put them in. Got that. Those guys didn't change. And then I've got my two roofs. So I can do the same thing because they are different because of these tabs up on top. They're not identical. However, they are just flipped. No, they're not. So we would also need to create a sketch. Stop sketch. I'm just going to go ahead and create another sketch. And stop the sketch. I'm going to call this one laser front roof. Call this one laser back roof. Export those as well. Roof. That's as far as I'm going to take this in Fusion. Now I'm going to take it over to my laser cutter software and actually cut out these pieces and do the engraving. And then I'll pound it together and post up a picture of the product.